Hello, Relayers. Welcome to the 2024 Relay USA Advocacy segment. I am Heidi Varner.
I am Donna Kemberling. Heidi and I are the Relay USA Advocacy Leads. ACS CAN has volunteer action teams in over 400 communities across the nation and in Guam and Puerto Rico. Together, we're working to make cancer a top priority for public officials and candidates at the federal, state, and local levels. By engaging advocates across the country to make their voices heard, ACS CAN influences legislative and regulatory solutions that will end cancer as we know it for everyone. Our highly organized volunteer program provides access to trainings, tools, and resources to amplify our voices and our impact.
Today, we're going to share about 3 of ACS CAN's, or the American Cancer Society Cancer Action Network's, top priorities from a personal perspective. This will give you some insights as to why we are so passionate about advocacy. We're going to focus on research, prevention and early detection programs, and tobacco control.
For the first time, the American Cancer Society projects that there will be more than 2 million cancer diagnoses in the United States this year. While significant progress has been made over the past few decades, there have been concerning trends in recent years, including the increased diagnosis in younger individuals. These trends show a clear need for significantly increased funding for cancer research and prevention programs.
By investing in the research of today, Congress can help prevent, detect, and treat many of the cancers of tomorrow, creating countless moments for patients and their loved ones in the process. Every major breakthrough in the fight against cancer has one thing in common. The research was in some way funded by the federal government's National Institutes of Health and the National Cancer Institute.
That's an awesome statistic, Heidi. ACS CAN State Lead Ambassador and cancer researcher Cody Wolf led a virtual lab tour to educate other volunteers and lawmakers on the critical importance of federal funding for research. We asked Cody for permission to share a portion of the video with our Relay USA audience, and he graciously agreed. Thank you, Cody, for this insider's view.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. My name is Cody Wolf. I am an ACS CAN volunteer here in the great state of Idaho. We're here at Boise State University, and I'm going to show you the research lab that I work in. So come on in. So this is what a cancer research lab looks like. We're here in the Jorsic lab at Boise State University. Again, my name is Cody Wolf. I'm a graduate student here at Boise State in the Biomolecular Sciences PhD program, and we study cancer research. Specifically, we study how inflammatory proteins promote the spreading of cancer cells throughout the body. And today we're going to give you a little bit of a tour of our lab and talk about how important NIH funding is for cancer research. So let me show you around the lab just real quick. We have a lot of really fun equipment. We have a bench area here that is specifically dedicated to look at proteins and RNA and DNA and see how those change with different treatments that we do. We have huge freezers that get really cold. This is minus 80 degrees Celsius where we keep all of our samples. They need to be stored in the deep freezer like RNA and proteins. We also have, under this little cabinet, a liquid nitrogen storage where we actually store human cells that we use and treat with. And so they got to stay very cold so that we can use them. And these come from patients, real patients, that donate their samples and let us use their cells so that we can study human cells inside the lab. We also have a few people that are here with us in the lab. We have Maria, who's a graduate student, just like me, doing research. This is where I do all my research in the lab. This is my benchtop and my laptop area. We have a few things that we have on the shaker there that we're currently looking at to see how protein expression changes when we treat ourselves with a variety of different things. We have other areas to do some pipetting and things along those lines that are really, really exciting and fun. We have computers here to do analysis software and analyze all the fun data that we collect within the lab. We also have some areas where we use chemicals that can be kind of dangerous to us. And so we have a special hood called a chemical hood, this blue guy right here. And this is where we work with any chemical that might be dangerous for us to breathe or work with. We have gloves that we put on, and all the air that comes in here gets out and purified so that it's safe for us to use. Now, if we go over here into the special room, we have what's called our cell culture space. We have Terrell here, another graduate student. Say hi, Terrell.
Hi.
He is currently working with human breast cancer cell lines, and he's giving them media, which is what they use to live off of. And if I put a glove on here, make sure I'm safe. Our cells live inside this incubator, and they are at 37 degrees C and 5% CO2, which is the environment they love to be in. They're nice and warm and toasty, and it's sterile so that we don't contaminate our cells. So I'm going to spray my hand with some ethanol, make sure I'm nice and sterile. And our cells live inside these flasks right here. And we use them, we plate them into different things, and we treat them with whatever we want to see what effects we have. And so these are breast cancer patient cell lines that have been derived. The cell lines that we have go all the way back to the 70s and have been around for a really long time, and they're really important for what we do here in our lab. We also have microscopes that we use to look at our cells. This is just a regular light microscope to see how the cells look. But we also have fluorescent microscopes because cells are actually transparent unless we decide to dye them with a stain, which is what you're seeing here. And this blue color that you're looking at is actually the DNA inside the cells. And each little dye is a different cell and the DNA inside each of that cell. And so we can see we have a big clump of cells here and a smaller clump of cells here. And so we can use that to see how the cells act and operate differently within a variety of situations. And so this is just a quick tour of the lab and what it looks like within a lab. As you can see, we have a lot of tubes and things that we do a variety of things with, and so it's very exciting, and there's always some stuff going on and always people that are running around doing a bunch of science.
Thank you, Cody. That was inspiring. Researchers amaze me. Increased funding for cancer research lengthens and saves lives, and it must be a top budget priority for Congress. Failure to build on our nation's proven investment at a pivotal point in the fight against cancer puts future cancer discoveries and support necessary to ensure the next generation of scientists at risk. It will take year over year continued and significant investment to end cancer as we know it for everyone. Hi, I'm Heidi Varner. I was diagnosed with cervical cancer in 1987. I had great insurance. Fast forward 20 years, I had no insurance and I knew things were bad. So thankfully, I was put into one of the early detection programs that we talked about earlier. I was put into the breast cancer, cervical cancer early detection program. And from there, they were able to find out that everything was precancerous and it was not good. So thankfully, because I was put into this program, I was provided with temporary Medicaid, which covered everything. And as a mom of 3 daughters, I wasn't really ready to go yet. So I was thankful for this program. It saved my life, but even more, I was so upset that in our country, there are so many women who do not have access to get these screenings done. And so that became my passion, to use my voice to fight for women everywhere, that this screening should be available, whether you have insurance or not. You shouldn't have to decide, am I going to buy groceries or am I going to have a diagnostic ultrasound? Am I going to pay for my kids' schooling or am I going to get a pap smear? So my fight became, it is time for us to lobby in DC and locally and with our health departments to make sure that screenings are available for everyone, that the prevention and early detection programs like the breast cancer and cervical control program is life-saving. The colonoscopy screening program is life-saving. The prostate cancer screening is life-saving. And it is also less costly than going through treatments. So for me, as much as I don't like to do this, it became important as I looked into the eyes of my daughters, and now I look into the eyes of my grandchildren, that we have to use our voices and we have to push for screenings, because it saves lives, and who knows what impact a person can have on the world around them if we only give them a chance. So please, please, please join us in the fight against cancer. Join your voices with ours, and let's push to get these programs funded at the level that they need to be funded at.
For me, tobacco control is a personal battle with a past, present, and future perspective. Tobacco use robbed me of what should have been precious childhood memories. Just 10 days after my 5th birthday, my daddy, who was only 43 years old, died from lung cancer caused by smoking, which left my mom to bring up 4 young children by herself. Sadly, all 4 of us grew up to become smokers. I am very happy to share with you that I quit smoking in 2006. My brother also quit, but not before tobacco use took a devastating toll on his physical well-being. He is currently in hospice care battling lung cancer. He hasn't left his home in years. He struggles to breathe and suffers from a great deal of pain. It is very difficult to see my brother in this condition, knowing that each visit could possibly be the last. Looking to the future, my husband and I have 5 adult children and 15 grandchildren. We want to make sure they never have to suffer the consequences of tobacco use the way my dad did and my brother is doing now. Tobacco products are projected to kill 1 billion people worldwide this century, and the industry is showing no signs of slowing down, spending more than $9 billion on marketing each year. Marketing that is often targeted at our children, as well as minority populations such as the African American and the LGBTQ+ communities, and those with limited incomes. Despite the industry's deceptive and deadly practices, ACS CAN continues to have enormous success, passing local, state, and federal laws that prevent children from smoking, help adults quit, and ensure the government uses its authority to regulate tobacco industry practices. ACS CAN is working in local communities across the nation to make restaurants, bars, casinos, and all workplaces smoke-free, protecting all workers from the dangers of secondhand smoke. Because no one should have to choose between their job and their health. Science clearly shows that secondhand smoke causes cancer, even for those who have never smoked a cigarette. Increasing tobacco taxes has proven to be an effective way to prevent children from smoking and help adults quit. ACS CAN is working in states across the country and in Congress to save more lives by passing regular and significant tax increases on all tobacco products. And this doesn't just include cigarettes, but also other dangerous products like smokeless tobacco and cigars. Our work to reduce tobacco use has led to funding for highly successful quit lines and youth programs that educate children about the perils of using tobacco, including cigarettes, hookah, and e-cigarettes. These programs will help prevent children from starting a deadly tobacco addiction and help more adults quit. In 2009, ACS CAN won a hard-fought campaign that led to Congress passing a law granting the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, the authority to regulate all tobacco products, including cigarettes, e-cigarettes, cigars, and hookah. Yet it took the FDA 7 years to begin their oversight of many of these products, with much more work left to be done. In 2016, ACS CAN, along with our partners, filed a lawsuit to force the FDA to comply with a graphic warning provisions of the Tobacco Control Act. In a 2018 ruling, Judge Indira Talwani of the U.S. District Court for the District of Massachusetts ruled in our favor, finding that the FDA unlawfully withheld and unreasonably delayed agency action to require the graphic warnings. The FDA then developed a final rule for the tobacco companies to comply with. The cigarette manufacturers were required to establish marketing plans to meet the requirements for random display and distribution of the required warnings for both packages and advertisements. The FDA must approve the plans in advance. Tobacco companies were required to run extensive television and newspaper advertising campaigns, and I love this part, at their own expense, admitting the truth about their products. Full-page newspaper ads appeared in papers in more than 50 major cities. Additionally, the major U.S. tobacco companies were required to post eye-catching signs telling the public the truth about the deadly consequences of cigarette smoking at about 220,000 retail stores across the nation that sell cigarettes. This is long overdue step in holding the tobacco industry accountable for decades of lies that led to addiction, disease, and premature death for millions of people, including my dad. I have to admit, it gives me a great sense of satisfaction when I see these signs, knowing that I played a small part in their implementation as an ACS CAN volunteer. The tobacco company's long legal battle against the graphic warnings exposes their sheer hypocrisy when they say they want to reduce the enormous harm caused by cigarettes. Far from helping to create a smoke-free future, these companies are doing everything they can to perpetuate cigarette sales and fight policies like graphic warnings and the elimination of menthol cigarettes that would actually reduce cigarette use. Policymakers at all levels must stand up to this deadly industry and implement proven policies to reduce tobacco use, including graphic cigarette warnings and the elimination of menthol cigarettes and other flavored tobacco products. As you can see, advocacy has a massive impact in the fight against cancer. Since 2001, as the American Cancer Society's nonprofit, nonpartisan advocacy affiliate, ACS CAN has successfully advocated for billions of dollars in cancer research funding, expanded access to quality, affordable health care, which includes screenings such as mammograms, pap smears, and colonoscopies, and advanced proven tobacco control measures.
We have only begun to scratch the surface of the work that ACS CAN does. Honestly, I could and do talk about it for days, but we don't have time for that when there's still so much to be done. Thank you for joining us for this advocacy portion of Relay USA 2024. And if you want to become a part of this incredible volunteer structure, you can join it at